Hello everyone and welcome back to TowerGate. It is Tuesday, TowerGate Day 375, March the 20th, 2018. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, well, why don't we get started today? Let's just go ahead and get the rotten Reverend Clinton out of the way. My goodness, let's just do away with her at the beginning. Well, of course, she has responded now to all the backlash she has taken from angry Democrats for essentially breaking the number one rule in politics that you learn from day one in politics. Never, ever attack the voters. Never attack the voters. And that's essentially what she spent her time in India doing, attacking the voters. And that is, man, that's bad news for the Democratic Party. And so these Democrats been a lot of backlash from them. And of course, we saw, I don't know how many of you saw her statement, but essentially it's classic Hillary. She never really admits that she's made a mistake. She'll say, oh, in fact, essentially what she said here, oh, I'm sorry that you took it that way. You're obviously too stupid, or you're not intellectually capable of understanding what I said. I'm sorry that you're too stupid to understand what I said, but there's factual evidence, there's statistics, there's things that prove, nah, that's all a bunch of crap, Hillary. there's nothing out there that would, the case that she was making, especially that, men somehow have this effect over how women vote. That's just ridiculous. My dad would have never told my mom how to vote. I would never tell my girlfriend how to vote, or vice versa. My brother-in-laws do not tell my sisters how to vote. Do you know anybody who's got the guts to try to, bully his wife into voting a certain way? There might be a few, but I mean, it's a very tiny number. And probably just as many, could be women who pressure their husbands to vote a certain way. So it's just ridiculous. But the bottom line is, you never ever attack the voters and blame the voters. Never. And the thing is that the Democrats, and they're saying, well, she needs to go away or whatever. But I'm telling you, she's not going to go away. And for those of you who have been watching Hillary Clinton as long as I have, since the Clintons came to Washington back in the early 90s, and we have a lot of subscribers in this channel who are about my age who know this. For those of you who are younger and don't know this, I mean, this is classic Hillary, and she is not going to stop. I'm telling you, she is not. As long as that woman can draw a breath on her deathbed, she will be talking like this. She will never ever accept this loss. She will continue to try to scapegoat anyone and everyone for the loss. She'll never take the blame, and she will never shut up. I promise you that. They may not want her to be out there campaigning. I promise you, she is going to be out there, as long as she's alive, she is going to be out there campaigning, attempting to campaign for Democrats, even though they want nothing to do with her. It's just the way she is. And the fact of the matter is, she is the standard bearer of the Democratic Party right now. She's the last Democrat to run for national office. She's got the Clinton name. She's got all those years, First Lady, carpetbagged the Senate seat in New York, ran for president twice and defeated twice. Served. She was in the Senate, was the Secretary of State. I mean, they don't have anyone in the Democratic Party in the stable who has, anything close to that. There's no national Democrat, and they really can't play too much off of Obama. He's not interested. He's interested in being head of the UN. He doesn't want the rap. He doesn't want to carry the weight. He never did. That doesn't interest him. He's a self-serving individual who's already got his. He could care less about the Democratic Party. He left him bankrupt and broke. So Hillary is the standard bearer. And it's funny, they spent since the last 3 years telling us that Hillary was the smartest person on the planet. Oh, that she was going to break the glass ceiling, that she was God's gift to the universe, the thing we finally all have been waiting for. She was going to come in and just take care of everything. And All of a sudden now we're supposed to believe that she's this pariah, this political heretic, and they have to distance themselves from her. Sorry, you own her. You spent 3 years selling her, $1.2 billion worth. Every one of you Democrats, you sold her for 3 straight years, every which way you could sell her. And now that she's killing you, you want to throw her into the weeds. It's not going to happen. She's not going away. You own her. You're stuck with her. She ain't going away. She's going to haunt you to her death. And let's not forget that that little India trip that she's on cost taxpayers around $22,000 in Secret Service protection. Oh, and she's not done. She's going all over Europe. By the time she finishes, the taxpayers will get a bill for probably in the $100,000 to $150,000 range for the Secret Service protection that we have to provide for her so she don't fall down the damn steps, fall in the shower, trip over her feet, fall off a bicycle, trip over a banana peel, or God knows what, choke on a cough drop, or God knows what. Who knows? But you Dems are stuck with her, man. And you deserve her. You deserve her. Alrighty. I think we got that out of our system. Let's move on. Byron York of the Washington Examiner has pointed out that during the Lewinsky investigation, the Clinton administration launched full-blown attacks on Ken Starr throughout his investigation, and the lib media had no problem with that. And I remember that so well. Very well done, Byron York. I do remember that. In fact, I remember they were using the term witch hunt. Bill Clinton almost every day. Hillary Clinton almost every day. All their people, Stephanopoulos, almost every one of them, every day. The whole time the Ken Starr investigation was going on, the same thing. They're, oh, well, it's a witch hunt. Blah, blah, blah. The whole 9 yards. And now they're giving Trump all this hell when he's actually is an actual witch hunt. There were actually real reasons to go after Bill Clinton. In the case of Trump, there was never an original crime. No original sin. With Clinton, there was many original sins. And some crimes, too. Well done, Byron York, for pointing out exactly the hypocrisy of the despicable left-wing media. Whew. And have it ever been as bad as you've seen it in the last 2 or 3 days with this Andrew McCabe firing? It's almost surreal to watch. Because, I mean, we know what happened. The OIG, the Inspector General, the IG, is doing his investigation. If he finds that there is some criminal activity, he must report it to the Attorney General, which he did. And then the Attorney General apparently goes to this group within the FBI and says, hey, I've just been informed by the IG that this crime was committed. I've looked at it. I've put it on review. I'm now going to give it to you to see exactly what you think should be done. This is exactly what happened. The process was followed. And the FBI itself, people who actually knew McCabe, liked McCabe, friends of McCabe, had to look at it and go, man, this is bad. This is really bad. I'm sorry. I mean, he's our friend and all, but God, you got to fire him. This is what happened. It wasn't, but CNN and MSNBC and all the rest, oh, well, Trump got his henchman, Sessions, to fire McCabe after a stellar career, 20 years, cuts him off 2 days before he gets his pension. First of all, we don't know that he's a 20-year stellar career. I don't know that. Do you know that? What, are we to assume that he only became a corrupt monster in the last 2 or 3 years, participated in the deep state coup, allowed the rotten Reverend Clinton to walk on a charge where she committed thousands of violations of mishandling classified information? He probably changed 302s. He helped set up Michael Flynn. He's involved in all these things. And this all just happened 2 or 3 years ago. Up until before then, no, he was an angel. He was an angel. I don't believe that. My guess is if we dug back into it, we might find that he's been kind of a dirty cop for a very long time. Yet they give us this narrative. But the media knows exactly all this. But that's not what they're reporting. That's not what they're reporting. And I don't know if you've seen any of the coverage on MSNBC or CNN or any of these other places, but I mean, it's just amazing. But what it tells you is that That's how bad things are for them, that they have to lie to that extent and commit such journalistic suicide. I mean, to know that you're a journalist, or supposed to be a reporter, whatever you want to call it, and that you have to go into these people know, and when they're sitting there doing this, looking at that TV camera, they know they're lying their asses off. They know it. I mean, which tells you that it's no longer, we're living in a totally different warp at this point. It's not. It's a war. It is. Alex Jones is right. It is an info war, and truth be damned, it is total hardcore propaganda. Pure lies, and it's coming from all sides. It's not all on the left and nothing on the right. I mean, but it's sad and it's dangerous. I mean, it's dangerous. There's a reason why that the founders, really said we have to have a First Amendment, man. We have to be able to tolerate the media telling the truth. These are the people. They are the ones, the final protectors of the check and balance. We have to have these people we call reporters and journalists and investigative people who will be watchdogs, for the criminal politicians. But now they've taken sides and joined. We are now, literally, all of us, we are now the last refuge for truth. And it's now up to us to be the reporters, the journalists, and to try to tell our friends and tell our family and other people that we know and try to explain the truth to them. It's the only hope they have. Without us, they're left to CNN. How's that going to work out for us in the end? It's not. That is how bad things are. And it's absolutely despicable. And it's sickening. It really is. I mean, whew, man oh man. Well done, Byron York. Well, we have a Democratic congressman in New York who, during a town hall, recently suggested that Democrats could use the Second Amendment to force Trump to carry out a mandate. That's, again, another threat. The only problem with that for this Democratic congressman in New York is, first of all, you're not allowed to have any damn guns in New York, you moron. And if there even was allowed to have any guns in New York, moron, New York Democrats are too stupid to operate a gun. Most of them, left-wing Democrats, are terrified of guns, hate guns, wouldn't know what to do, wouldn't know which end of the barrel to point at. Yet you think that they're all going to take up arms and try to force Trump to carry out a mandate. Well, we'll see how that works out. Take a look at that map, Mr. Democratic Congressman. Take a look at that map of the 93% of counties that Trump won in the last election, and I think you'll find there's a lot of red country out there, and I can promise you that in the red country, we know how to use guns. We know how to load them, we know how to point them, we know how to shoot them. You would be fools to go down that road, and it's a very, very dangerous suggestion to make, Mr. Congressman in New York. You moron. Alrighty. Here's some very good news. It is being reported that Trump has brought Joe diGenova onto his legal team. This is very good news, and there's much more to this little news bite right here than just this announcement, and I'm going to explain why. And Joe diGenova has not actually stated and confirmed that, but he hasn't denied it either. But we are hearing this. A couple different rumors have been out there the last couple days. One coming from Republican, one coming from kind of the Democrat side. The one coming from the Republican side is that as soon as the IG report comes out, they are already planning this, that there is already going to be a scheduled press conference with Trump. And it's going to be like a, Trump speaks to the nation sort of thing. And it's likely going to be him speaking to the nation after the IG report comes out to try to, I guess, talk to the country about what they're going to be learning from this, what we expect is going to be some fairly explosive revelations coming from the IG, the Inspector General. And they're anticipating it's going to be quite a bomb. And so they are already planning and putting this together. So that so my guess is behind the scenes they probably have a date. My guess is Sessions knows the date that the IG's going to come out. My guess is they've coordinated this with the White House because this, they know. I think it's going to be Trump going to be calling for calm. He's going to say, okay, don't everybody freak out. Understand, this is the Inspector General. This is not my administration. This is, don't people freak out. So it's going to be a message to try to calm the nation, to get them to accept the fact that, hey, this is what the IG found, and these are the individuals that were involved, and this is what happened. And, it's going to be spun, but Trump is going to have to speak directly to the nation. He cannot leave it up to NBC and ABC and CNN to try to tell the truth about what this Inspector General's report means. So Trump is going to have to try to address the nation. And it appears that this is the reason that Joe DeGeneva and maybe some other people are going to be brought in to help Trump and to help in this presentation for how they're going to handle getting this information out to the people, so that once the Inspector General report comes out, they're going to have to manage this situation, because if it's a real bombshell, they are really afraid of civil unrest. They know that probably they've even gotten word that Soros, the Clintons, and the left-wing activists are already probably, the plans are being made. The Molotov cocktails are being loaded now in some warehouse somewhere. The money is being put together. These activists are already, this is all happening, I'm sure. It's all going on. Trump's probably gotten intelligence, has made them aware of it. They're watching for it. They're expecting it. I imagine they're already, the police departments are probably being notified. Believe me, when this IG report comes out, they are going to be planning. They're hoping it doesn't happen, but they are not going to be caught blindsided and wake up the next day with 30, 40 cities rioting and, blood in the streets and things and such. So they are preemptively going to try to do everything they can, and I believe that Joe DeGeneva's job is going to be to try to somehow be a part of the best way to handle how you get this type of message out. So this is something that's kind of lurking out there. It's kind of in the rumor mill, but it's something that I'm sure is going on behind the scenes. This is what they're planning, because keep in mind, once that Inspector General report comes out and we do learn these things, which we believe will be fairly explosive, the indictments will be coming down very soon afterwards. So that is something to be very focused on. But there's another thing that's been floating out there, and it's coming from the left. And it's, I think, started by Adam Schiff. Which is, he is complaining, or there's some Democrats complaining that they've been hearing that there have been these secret meetings going on between Nunes, Goodlatte, Grassley, Gowdy, members of the Freedom Caucus, and some other individuals who have been having these secret meetings. There may even be some journalists involved in this, I'm not sure, but apparently there have been these regular secret meetings that have been going on, where Adam Schiff and some Democrats believe that they're plotting, that these Republicans are plotting some sort of a strategy to take down the Mueller investigation and to flip the script and turn it into an investigation of Democrats or people in the Obama administration that they want to go after, and this type of thing. Which is, in a sense, that's true, but it's not a plot. It's an attempt to get the truth. And, so this is something that's kind of a whisper thing that's going on also, but I have no doubt that that's true. I have no doubt, because we already know that Nunes and Grassley are working together, and then we know that Goodlatte works kind of with the Inspector General. So, yeah, we know that these three are working together. Obviously, they're having meetings and coordinating and planning so that they have the releases of information. Obviously, they're working on multiple prong attacks. They're coordinating their themselves together to make sure that they do this correctly, that they investigate everything correctly, get the facts, and just like Nunes did with the Nunes memo, now he's working on the State Department. When he's done, there'll be a memo on the State Department. Grassley is expecting to put out, he's been doing his letters. He'll be doing more. So yes, there is absolutely a coordinated effort on their behalf to expose what really did happen. And it wasn't Trump-Russia collusion. It was collusion between the Obama administration, the Hillary Rotten Clinton campaign, and the entire damn intel community, apparently, with some help from the media. So yeah, absolutely. You better believe it. Here we go. High-dollar Chicago-based law firm representing the parents of Seth Rich have filed a lawsuit against Brett Butowski. We knew this was coming. Also Fox News and reporter Malia Zimmerman. It alleges that Butowski manipulated the grieving family into hiring Rod Wheeler to investigate Seth's murder. So the question is, who is paying this high-dollar law firm? Who's paying their bills? Because the Riches originally told Butowski, when he first had a couple of meetings with him, that the reason initially that they did not hire a private investigator to look into Seth Rich's murder initially was because they couldn't afford to pay for a PI. But all of a sudden they've got the money for this high-dollar Chicago law firm? No, of course they don't. Someone else is footing that bill. Who do you think that is? Also, Butowski learned that after Seth Rich's murder, Brad Bauman, remember him? Brad Bauman? He shows up at their door and told the Riches that he was assigned by the Democratic National Committee to represent them. And of course, the Riches told Butowski they wondered why the DNC would assign a crisis consultant, PR guy, to represent them. They were kind of curious about that. And of course, we know that Brad Bauman's firm, again, another high-dollar firm, and I think he's still on the case, represents high-dollar, high-level Democratic politicians and union labor leaders, high-level people in the labor unions. You got to have big money to get Brad Bauman working for you. So they've got these high-dollar people representing, giving the Riches representation when they're really not even asking for it or pleading for it or needing it for that matter. But whatever's going on with the Riches, this just continues to be something very, very strange going on with all this, and I think we all know what it is. You know, the thing has stunk from day one. It continues to stink, and it will not go away. I mean, the Seth Rich is not going away. Not anytime soon. And God knows whether or not, as we're digging into the deep state and hopefully unraveling the truths of all that's been going on, God knows whether we'll end up going down some road that turns this stone over and we find the truth about this as well, which most of us already know. But it's hard to say where this is going to fit into everything. But it's just more evidence that, you know, there certainly is people out there willing to spend some serious money to scare away anyone that wants to continue asking questions about Seth Rich. Why? I mean, it's logic. Because they're things that they don't want us to know. Fox News has pretty deep pockets. And I don't know that they got a case against Butowski. It's public, it's things people are interested in. Now, I don't know if he slandered them or anything like that, but it's just, it's you know, I think it's pretty much what it looks like. Okay, well, we now have, let's see, Samantha Power now walking back her threatening tweet, saying that she was misinterpreted when she said, "Oh, it's not a good idea to anger Brennan." Well, she's saying now that what she actually meant was that he would raise an angry and eloquent voice. And at the time I looked at it on Twitter, there were 648 people supporting her on that comment and 3,462 downvoting her. So 648 upvote, 3462 downvote. It looks like the overwhelming majority is not buying you, you demon. They know exactly what you meant. You, Samantha Power, who unmasked, 262 times that we're aware of, including on the last day, on January 19th or 20th, you were still unmasking. Never should have been unmasking anyone. So I think that we all know what she meant by that. I mean, John Brennan despises Trump. He was the former head of the CIA, and we know what kind of things that they get into, don't we? The type of clandestine things that they do. And we already know that they have a penchant for certain types of events that sometimes have occurred in our history involving presidents, some of them who were involved in limousine rides through Daley Plaza and things and such. Yeah, we know all about the activities of the Central Intelligence Agency with presidents that they didn't like. And we know that Mr. Dulles wasn't in charge at the time either. But he still had a lot of friends at the agency, did he not? He still had those contacts, did he not? And who was the very first person named on the Warren Commission? Mr. Dulles. A helicopter carrying Jared and Ivanka Trump had to return to the airport on Thursday after experiencing engine failure. Fortunately, it's a two-engine job that they were on. Well, as most of you know, when I was in the military, I logged in 1,360 some odd hours in helicopters. Almost always Hueys. Single engine jobs. Let me all give you some very, very good advice from someone who's got a lot of experience with helicopters. Stay the hell off of them. They're death traps, flying egg beaters. I didn't like a single second I ever spent in a helicopter. Well, I want to tell you, planes, no problem. Planes, no problem. We had a small plane when I was a kid. Flown in many planes, flown many, many, many times. Jets, small planes. Helicopters, stay away from them. They're death traps. Especially when they're made in the 1960s. And the guy flying it just got out of school 4 weeks ago. And the guy working on it just got out of school 6 weeks ago. I'll tell you a secret. Talk to anybody who served in the Army who was around helicopters, and they will tell you that the Army does not release the statistics of how many of their little choppers crash. How often. They keep that stuff very, very secret. Only if it has to be made public do they make it public. It generally doesn't make it in papers all across the country or national news. It might make it in a local paper, and the things and the crashes and stuff that occur on the military post rarely make it into any newspapers. They crash all the time, my friends. And you can look up how many private helicopter crashes, whether it's traffic reporter helicopters, sightseeing helicopters. You take your pick. I'm telling you, pass on any opportunity you have to get in a helicopter. I'm telling you, you're taking your life in your hands, my friends. They're not safe vehicles. They're not safe vehicles. Stay away from them. I won't get on one. That last day that I was finished with helicopter D, I was awfully happy. I was a happy man that I survived my 1,340 some odd hours. And keep in mind, ask anybody who's in the military will tell you that it was in helicopters. They pay you extra money. It's called hazardous duty pay. You get paid extra money. I think I got paid $95 a day for every day that I had to do helicopter duty. And yeah, they pay you extra money because it's considered hazardous duty pay, being on a helicopter in the Army. Because they crash a lot. Stay away from them. Hey, Eric Holder is now warning DOJ and FBI officials, be prepared. It's going to get worse. Well, I can honestly say, for once, me and Eric Holder agree on one thing. It's going to get worse. You better believe it, Eric. And keep in mind, it was you, Mr. Holder, the first Attorney General in history ever held in criminal contempt of Congress, that cockblocked the Inspector General, who's still there. You know him, Michael Horowitz. You made him very angry. Did you see his little hearing in front of Congress after you left? Talking about what you did to him to keep him from exposing your crimes, Eric. Well, that's why we learned about a month ago that, I believe we learned that from the Washington Examiner. It may have been Byron York on that as well, who told us that we should not be surprised if Inspector General goes all the way back to Eric Holder in Fast and Furious in his little investigation, because he's got some unfinished business there, Eric. And maybe that's what Eric is worried about. And he should be. Kim.com says that Obama and Jarrett are directing a shadow government from D.C., from their bunker 2 miles from the White House. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that even before it was in the transition period, before Trump even took over, that Obama had already bought a little house right there 2 miles from the White House, where he had already set up Jarrett. Now, he's never there. Obama's never there. But he set up Jarrett there, and the goal was to bring in a whole bunch of lawyers so that they could do nothing but file lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit against every single thing that Trump does for the rest of the time that he's president, to try to block him from getting anything done and to derail his agenda. That's just one of the many things that they do there. So yeah, I mean, they are running a little shadow government from their D.C. bunker 2 miles from the White House. Very well done, Tim.com. We have Marie Harf, who I cannot stand, the former Obama State Department official, who she was like total propaganda minister. It was the latest to tell Hillary Rodham Clinton to go away, and she says, and she's wrong, she says that she is no longer the future of the Democratic Party. Well, I beg to differ with you, Marie. The fact of the matter is, she is. Hillary Clinton is the standard bearer of the Democratic Party until 2018, after 2018, when you announce the new person who's going to be the new Democratic standard bearer. But you've got at least 2 more years of the rotten reverend as your leader of your party, whether you like it or not. And then if that Democrat that you name blows up and doesn't go anywhere and loses, it's probably still the reverend until the next time around, unless she dies. You're stuck with her, Marie. Get used to it. You're the one who sold us on her for 3 years. Now suck it up and enjoy her. Hannity has destroyed Comey in a tweet storm, and he's invited him to come on his show. You think he will accept? Hell no. Comey won't get anywhere near Sean Hannity, I can assure you of that. But he is going to be on ABC, Stephanopoulos. He's going to be on Stephen Colbert and The View. That's where you'll see Jim Comey. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you guys have a good night. See you. Bye.